All right, easy.
Uh, Hello, everyone. This is SHARCast episode 2. Woo, last minute thing that was organized, but it's fine. As you can see with the scuff layout. But today we'll be going through the group stages just because we haven't really, there wasn't really enough time to break it down a little bit last night, and we haven't made a predictions thing as of yet for like groups or whatever. So we'll just discuss it now. I'm joined here with
Yeah.
dtops.
Hello, hello. How is everyone today? This is going to be fun. I love breaking down the groups, almost like a yearly tradition. So,
I know you have
it should
your
be fun.
write-ups that you do.
Yeah, it's much easier to verbalize it.
Yeah.
So, actually sweeps. All right. Should we get straight into it?
Yeah, let's start with the goal groups. The goal groups look very interesting.
Super interesting. So, yeah, I don't know a lot about some of these runners. But definitely the first gold group looks really tight. It feels like anyone can win that group.
Yeah, there's only like a 4-minute gap, which like at that bottom tier level, like of like 1-4x, you expect like these massive ranges of like PBs from like 1-4x to 1-5x, but that group actually looks very fun.
It's
With
super close.
I don't know how to pronounce the first name in that group. Exlebo. It's oh, I feel like I could accidentally say something there.
Oh yeah, I would just go with X Lebo. Yeah, that
Yeah,
works.
that's I don't know how to pronounce that. Yeah, they're a
Yeah.
new one. I think they're a cars world record holder.
Oh, okay, that would
So
explain the profile picture.
yeah, so they definitely are a one to watch in the gold section of the groups. But the one below that as well, very interesting.
Yeah,
Pet Iguana.
yeah, an old runner who's come back. I think has a 135 PB if I remember correctly.
I believe.
So
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's
yeah,
former
looking.
world record. That PB or like one
Oh,
of his PBs was a former world record in
that I
ASM.
did not know.
He's like ancient.
Yeah.
Yeah, former
Former world
world.
record holder.
Okay.
My apologies. Yeah, so with a 135 PB. So I did see them stream. They were practicing some of the newer strats. So if they can get it down, then they could potentially blow that 143 out the water. So that's going to be really exciting to watch. And also, like you said, any new runners, they can improve really quickly. So people with 1.4x's can suddenly have mid 1.3x's.
Oh yeah, it's very easy to improve at that level. So like they may be close now, but it could like we could see like a gap increase during groups, which is always good to see. We always love to see runners improve.
Yeah, and I think what's exciting is that we don't know which runner is going to improve because it could be some of the newer runners. It could be Pepe Iguana, it could be LT who's played the game for a bit and could make a leap. So
Yeah,
that's exciting to get into.
yeah, and you've got Kieran as I think it's Kieran as well.
Yeah,
With just in the middle of that group that I don't know what to expect. I haven't really watched their runs, but could
yeah,
could provide a shock based on like that not knowing factor.
yeah. And Kieran PB 6 days ago. So it looks like they picked up the game again about a month ago and have taken 10 minutes off their PB. So again, you can improve really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On to the next group though. This looks like also a fun group. Not as strong, but like House is up there. I think he's like probably an easy favorite to win the group. It looks close between those top three, but I feel like House is pushing. Um, I think he wins that group.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I don't know too much about if Larrikin's played a lot recently. I know Zoton only did one run, right? And I don't think Zoton's going to grind. House, if he plays consistently, probably looks to be the favorite there. I would tend to agree. Um, yeah, Zoton saying that's correct. Okay, that's good to always to be correct. But yeah, CC as well. It's just like that's probably the runner most likely to PB. So also just adds something interesting to the tournament. I think
Yeah,
their PB is like a 215 or so.
it could be a wild card. It could just be a factor of okay, bad now, but like in the groups, you can just like turn it into a 1-4x like that if you really want
Mm,
to. So like even though it says like
yeah,
248 for seating time, like um it could be closer. It's all based on if CC wants to improve and try and get a win in groups. I could finish third place, which would still be a good achievement considering the gap in seeding times.
yeah. And I watched a little bit of that seeding run, and they didn't look like they were taking it too seriously. So maybe the tournament, bit of practice, yeah, time can go down real quick. So yeah, again, it looks like an interesting group. That top three should it be close, even if we both think House is probably slightly favored to make it out of that group or at least win it. Still, top two both make it. So, Larrikin and Zoton both must be thinking they're a really good chance to be making it to the knockouts.
For sure. And it's going to be very interesting what
Mm.
type of final we have. It'd be cool for Petagrana to win it. That's who I'm going for in that section.
Yeah, and Petagon, of course, will be a favorite, especially with some of the older runners like LP3.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it should be fun to watch.
All right. On to Platinum now. You're in this section.
Yeah. So I have a very vested interest in what happens in Platinum, obviously.
Let's
Uh,
start with
yeah,
the first group. Gavin, Warb,
so
JPEG, and Seasoner. That's a great group.
yeah, that's a really interesting group. Yeah, no secret, I really wanted JPEG in my group, so that was pretty upsetting to see him go somewhere else. But can't have everything you want, right? Um, but yeah, Gavin looks like a pretty strong seed one here. Um, and also, I'm pretty sure still getting better. It's still pretty new to the game, and yeah, it's. I'm struggling to see them not make it out of this group.
Yeah, I definitely think the top two in this group are like the strongest in overall. Like Warb as a seed two is like ridiculous. I would we're talking about like I think Warb was on pace last night, and I think uh the PB is like the PB to some of best difference is massive. So like all it takes is one run, and like could like get close to sub 130, like low 1-3x range. And then you've got JPEG in that group as well, who has sub 130. It's just how motivated is he
Correct.
to like push his time down to the low 1-3x range and win some races? And Seasoner as
Yeah.
well, like good seed four
Uh,
pushing.
hmm. So yeah, I I would assume that JPEG's not going to be doing any runs outside of the tournament runs. Don't think they'd be working too hard here. Seasonal has a 137 PB. I'm not sure how much he's playing the game, but if he plays it a bit, then you can definitely challenge JPEG, Warb, and maybe even Gavin. But yeah, I kind of tend to agree that this is Gavin and Warb's kind of group to make it out of, and it's going to be pretty difficult to see anyone else come out of this.
I would agree. Um, On to the next group. That's like Gabodale, wasn't it? Um, Falco, LP3, Doc, and Spam. Um, Falco look like based on the seeding time. Falco looks like um, steamrolling this group based on the seeding
Yeah.
time. Um, yeah,
So yeah,
like
there you go.
the weakest seed four, based on seeding times. Doc's new to the game, so vulnerable to mistakes as well. And LP3 is an interesting case. Uh he could get out of the group, but uh it's hard. It's hard to know with LP3
Yeah.
whether he's going to get a good run or not.
So I'm looking at Doc's run on the board. It says they did it on GameCube. Is that right?
I
So if they
don't
play
think
on,
that's right. I don't think that's right.
it doesn't look very right. This looks like a PC release.
Doc, you're looking at. Oh, hang on. Oh, that runs on GameCube. I'll quickly change that. Yeah, that's not supposed to be like that. Oops.
Yeah. Whoopsies. Um, so yeah, I think Spammer really just comes back for the tournaments. They did PB that run from memory, 200 FPS GameCube. That's a massive find. Um, but yeah, Falco. I'm not sure how consistent Falco is. I know they play the game a lot, but consistency is key in the tournament. Um, Though I don't know how consistent LP3 or Doc are either, to be honest. But yeah, that seeding run LP3 did, I think it misses a couple of cutscenes.
Oh, does
So
it?
that seeding time probably, yeah, it definitely misses one. It might miss two. So it's probably not as big a gap as it looks. Especially LP3 is really good at early game. So, those races could look really close to start off with. Um, And I don't know too much about Doc.
I know Doc's playing the game a lot, and like if you continue playing, you're gonna improve pretty quickly. So I wouldn't count Doc out. Like Doc's pretty dangerous if they can build some momentum and PB and stuff like that. So
Yeah, 100%. And as we've said throughout, like the new runners improve quickly. So, by the end of groups, they could have a 134, 133, and that might be enough to get you through to the knockouts.
exactly. On to I forgot that card's name. Um, that third group
Uh,
with Cody.
the monkey paw?
That's the one. Yes, I knew that one. With Cody,
Okay.
Tyler, Hamster, and Chori. Obviously, we had a race this morning. Tyler Hamster, where Tyler emerged victorious over Hamster. I watched a bit of that race. It was quite back and forth actually when I watched it. Um, I think it was kind of a close finish. I forgot the times.
Tyler got a 135.56 and Hamster got a 138.22.
Yeah,
So a couple minutes.
and I know Tyler had a pretty bad Bart one or something. But it looked like a very good race, and I think a few minutes off. Hamster nearly did pull off a win in their first race, which is statistically unlikely. Um,
Doesn't happen often, yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, it's kind of it's kind of scary. Tyler saying they missed but one cutscene skip and would have PB'd otherwise. So it kind of makes it look like I was also got a real chance to PB and push that time. You'd say that have to be favorite to make it out now. If they beat Corey, then it's kind of over, right? They're through to knockouts.
yeah, you could really say that, but Chori could also improve, but I don't see it. See Chori beating Tyler, but the fact that Tyler isn't the best person in this group, Cody, in
Mm,
his improvement,
yeah.
he is one to watch. I looking at some of their IL times and their seeding and like the I think they submitted a low 15 Marge IL today as well. Um,
Dang. Okay. Can only
yeah,
dream of a low green March.
yeah. Cody's dangerous.
Mm.
Definitely could win platinum and could sub
I
130.
remember there was a time like a couple months back where there was like serious push for Cody to be the next up on 30. Don't know if they played much since, but if they're back again, you don't lose that kind of skill. It's a bit like riding a bike. So yeah, I think Cody definitely would be the favorite here, as most of the seed ones are. But yeah, Tyler like just showed that they can play really well. Like it's sometimes hard to like remember that people don't play up to their PBs every run, and they don't play up to their seeding times. Like in one run, people are going to lose minutes, potentially. So it's gonna be a really fun group. But yeah, I don't really see much of a hope for, is it Chori?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's gonna be rough. And I guess for Hamster, like you lose one race, but you're favorite in another one, and despite all the good things we said about Cody, like there's not that big a gap between the two.
yeah.
Like a 138 is a really solid first time.
I think I saw Hamster get like a 35 Lisa exit as well. It's just, I think, I'm from memory. So,
Okay,
like, there's potential there as well.
mm, yeah, I've
Not
never
over
done a
yet.
35. Yeah, um, yeah. Again, like these groups are pretty close, so they're gonna be fun races to watch.
Now, the final group, Bart's Soul, um, featuring yours truly, dtops, Bean, IGTP, and Luke. Um, wow, that's another really close group. Um,
Mm,
like they're all like three of those are like low 13x sub 130. Like you're barely sub 130. Um, IGTP
yeah.
couldn't. Like I'm not sure what IGTP's PB is. I have to go check that. Um,
Yeah.
where are you? Apparently they've got a 148 on the boards. Okay, so they've got a 137 now. All right, I'm
Yeah.
counting that as their PB.
Yeah, and also from what I've heard, that also misses cutscenes, or they get really good times outside of that have missed cutscenes. So, if you get all three of them, you could be looking at a low 1.3x, like you said.
Like some of these groups
Um,
could come down to like your average time, and like so
mm,
this person could beat this person, that person could beat that. Like you could end up with everyone just getting a win, and it all comes down to who's gone faster overall.
yeah. Um, Honestly, when the draw show started, I wasn't really too worried about seed threes and seed fours. Now that I'm looking at them, they scare me a little bit more. I don't know if that's just a paranoia thing, but like they're all pretty good runners and they're all experienced. Being is like really consistent from what I remember. Um, so I watched Being from when he was like a 2 hour runner. So
It'll be a
yeah,
bit of fun with that race.
it's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah. Um,
All
yeah,
right,
I don't know what else to say. Yeah.
yeah, I interesting group. Who do I pick as like to winner? I don't know. I'm gonna pick, I'm gonna pick Cody. I'm gonna pick Cody to win. That's my opinion.
Cody,
So Pet Petagrana and Cody on
if
the
I
picks.
Yeah, if I can't pick me, I'll go Gavin. Uh, and I'm gonna go with House in the golds.
Reasonable picks. Now we get through to the final two groups of the sections.
Oh God.
Oh, starting off in Diamond. What a group. Ty Fuzzle, Greedy, Spear, and Axington. That's
So
that group is wild.
that is loaded. Yeah. I don't know if Axe told you, but he DM'd me during the draw show. Said that basically their tournament's already over with Greeny and Spear in the group. So I'm sure it's a bit of a joke, but it just shows you this group at like this section especially, like being a seed 1 or a seed 2 or a seed 3, like it almost doesn't matter. Like they're just so close to each other.
Yeah. It and like Ty and Axe gonna have that rivalry. Axe and Greeny gonna have that like battle. Greeny Spear gonna have that battle. I know Spear's dropped down to 60 and seen how it goes, but Spear could probably still 128, 127 on a good run. Greeny could
Mm.
do that by some miracle as well. I'm kidding. Greeny's good.
Yeah. Yeah, like again, Granny's run missed Bart 2 as well. So, definitely a 128 caliber runner. With a 125, Spear has a 124. And like every day you watch Axe and somehow they find a way to blow a PB. So this group is just going to be so much fun.
Yeah, but you can't count
Oh,
Axe out. Like I think Axe is getting the most promising paces out of that group at the moment.
yeah,
So
honestly could be.
it could see some
Um,
Axie W's. Like even getting a 1 win out of that group for Axe would be a victory.
yeah, I guess from that point of view, there's just no pressure on Axe. If they lose, they lose. Like if you win it, it's just like you get to talk shit, you get to talk the talk, like you belong in Diamond, I guess.
Exactly.
So
But let's move on because there's some other interesting groups as well. We've got Human Cookbook here with Towson, Guff, Sid, and Original. Um, yeah, that's insanely close. Like the previous group, you have like scattered PBs at least. This is just like everyone's within 3 minutes of each other.
mm,
PB wise, like I think the top like 3 of those 4 have like PB'd. Sid's been close to getting a PB in ASM, like that. Um,
yeah, like Towers and Guff and Original, those are all PBs and seeding times. So
exactly. Like you could end up with Sid and Original like top 2 by some uh upsets that might happen, but
mm,
it could also be top 2 seeds go through. That's
yeah,
such a good group.
and I think the thing that sticks out for me here is that Guff, doesn't play the game very often, but when they do, they seem to always be pretty consistent, like 129 to like 132 range. And that kind of consistency in a group like this that could, have lots of variation from the other runners, like that's probably going to hold them in really good stead. Like that's hard to beat.
Yeah, it's
A
pretty much like a baby Vapo, like a mini Vapo in like a competition on 60.
yeah,
Just like not like beating people out of consistency, rather than like getting those like an extra minute or 2 lead based on high FPS.
100%. Yeah, and Sid also plays the game a lot, so probably pretty consistent. It's just like, how do you pick these groups? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Just they're so close. And again, I think Original has a little bit of that axe factor of like they're probably the consensus 4 in this group.
Yeah,
But so any win is like gold, I guess, or diamond.
let's move on. Pin pals. Kammer, Tone Dog, Gibstack, and Cola Truck. Kammer ending up in Diamond is wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel
No,
sorry for that
no.
group. Because
Yeah.
he's
So firstly,
capable of like 122 um if he puts his runs together and like does his runs. Like he only did a day of runs. Um and probably should have been in champion.
mm, yeah. Firstly, got to point out it's the America group. All Americans there. But yeah, Camera looks to be the favorite there. As you said, their PB is 4 minutes better, or at least than Gibb and Cola. I don't know what Tone Dogs did off the
Tone Dog is a 127.
120. Okay, still 2 minutes. So, um, so yeah, that's Kama seems to be the one. But again, it's different doing runs consistently and just being able to keep your best one than having to finish a run from the start. Um, and even then, outside of Kama, I don't know how the other three go. Like that is just such a toss up.
Yeah, Gibbs on. You have to point out as well. Gibbs like on RTA as well. Like that's probably a sub 130 time of IG, like um taking out loads. In Cola Truck Gibbs gonna be a good race. Like they're all gonna be good races. The whole tournament has such good races. I'm so happy with this format of like splitting it, but giving people a chance to like get higher based on like qualifiers and how they're playing.
For sure. And it's just like the fact that I've looked at every group and I'm like, I can't decide on who I think is coming out of that group. Just proves that point, I guess. But yeah, I think kind of agree that Kama has the highest upside here. And if they play well, then this group's probably theirs to win. And then the other three, they're all good runners.
So the final group in Diamond is Tilbert, Beige, Finesse, and Pelican. The Where do I start? Tilbert's probably like there's no favorites apart like the top three are gonna compete. I think Finesse probably wins the group based on playing on 60 um, and having that consistency with cutscenes and out of bounds and stuff like that. But um, Tilbert and Badge do have that higher ceiling with the strats they do.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird one because every runner kind of is a couple minutes off their PBs, so they're all kind of like probably better than they look on this page. But yeah, I would say Tilbert probably again has the highest upside. If they play to their best, they probably win. But like who knows what you're getting out of a Tilbert run? Like you could see a 126, you could see a 136, like and everything in between. So yeah, I don't know too much about Bedge and Pelican from a consistency point of view. I think Finn is pretty consistent though, so it should be
Also,
pretty good.
be interesting to see Pelican as well. There's obviously that 5-1 meme.
Mm.
So we could see some funny moments. Or hopefully not.
Yeah,
Hopefully we see Pelican sub 130 instead of like failing that mission because I think
for sure.
it's going to be very clear that it's going to be mentioned in chat if he does.
Yeah. And I think like as good as a lot of these runners are, like they're still prone to mistakes. Like we have Greeny, Axe, Original have some of the funniest moments playing Char. Like, you're gonna probably see some boneheaded stuff, but hopefully we'll see a lot of really high quality races.
That reminds me of C2D Otto in the Well. But yeah, we'll move on to Champion and try and get this wrapped up. And there's some fantastic names in this group, and we'll start with Jebediah's head card with Bacon, Bulmers, Vapo, Duck Bob. That's competitive. I'm interested to see how Vapo does. I believe he's playing on 150 now. I think this will be probably his first tournament or his first tournament in a while where he's played on something on a higher FPS than 60. So he's lost like that edge there of consistency. There's a chance
So
Vapor goes back to 60.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, I think this looks like a pretty clear Bacon Man victory. Like Bacon is just unreal. Like how you compete with them, I don't know. And yeah, Duck Bob, I'm not sure how much they're going to play the game. If they don't play a lot, it's hard to see them get into that mid 1-2x range. So, like, to me, the big question is, like, is it Bulmers or Vapor?
Yeah, he makes it out. It's definitely the fight.
He makes it out.
But you could see Duck Bob come third. Who knows?
Definitely. Yeah, Duck Bob's a great runner. But yeah, Bulmers also starts tournaments really slow generally, so you don't have much time to get right.
Yeah, especially with like these dangerous groups where you like just get knocked out like that.
For sure.
On to the next group: Gordo, Derek, Bamford, Quimby. Probably the most wild group. In champions,
Yep.
like Bamford, Quimby or Quimbo, could emerge as the top two just as easily.
I have no idea what to make of this group at all. I have no idea if Gordo probably is the best player, but Derek is really good, and then like Quimby is really good, and Bam's really good. Like I don't, I have no idea. How do you pick someone in this?
I don't know. Flip a coin.
Yeah. I think a big factor here is, like, much as it sucks to say, is going to be a poor cutscene. Like Quimby is well known for missing it, and I'm not too sure if Gordo's great at it. From memory, Gordo misses it quite a bit as well. So might just be as simple as you get your cutscenes, you might win it or make it out of this group.
Yeah. Yeah, cutscenes would definitely play a factor, as doesn't all races. But yeah, hard to pick that group. I'm running out of time, so we should probably move on and finish this.
All right, let's go.
So next, the second to last group: Homer of Steel, Potato, Rich, and Tim's. Homer of Steel didn't perform well last tournament, but he's improved so much and is such a dangerous group. Like he's probably the favorite to win it all.
Yep.
Like as much as Potato and Critch are good and could push for PB and whatnot, even Tim's, it's essentially Homer of Steel being in a completely different league. Like he just got an 808 Homer 2 in a full game run and PB.
Ridiculous.
So
yeah,
a different.
I agree. It's
a different league.
Yeah, Homer Steele's group. Potato and Critch are probably pretty even. Probably a bit higher ceiling than Tim's. I feel like the only way Tim's gets out is if they play well and Potato and Critch don't. Yeah, a little bit like the first champion group. I think Potato Critch is the most exciting part of the group. One of those two would probably battle to get out, I'd say.
Definitely. All right, on to the last group, which is Mr. Plowjacker, where we got Kelvin Destroyer. Caleb. And Neonic and Amber. There's a lot of talking points in this one. Kelvin is like in the same league as Bacon and Homer of Steel. I mean, Homer of Steel is like slightly above, but he's at that table with those two.
For sure.
It's probably going to be one of those three who win the tournament. But Kelvin Destroyer has a lot to prove in this group. But Kelvin wants to right the wrongs of 2020. So that's a interesting race.
For sure, yeah.
Kelvin Destroyer versus Neonic as well. Like these are like the two most DNF prone people going head to head in a race.
Yeah. Yeah, you could have a situation where Amber just like Stephen Bradbury's their way to second place.
Yeah, quite easily. It's very funny. Amber probably is loving this group. I think Amber beat Caleb last year. Neonic can probably get out of this group, but it's like there's a lot of factors there with Neonic. It's hard to say what's going to happen. And unlike the first and third group, I think like the fourth seed actually has a pretty good shot at making it out, despite having like that difference.
For sure, yeah. If Caleb's mental game is there, I think Caleb makes it out of this group. You know, as they've shown in previous tournaments, it's not always the case. But
he's learnt the new
Kelvin,
strats now as well. So
true. Yeah, and Kelvin's just in a class of his own in this group.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pick who I think is going to win for Diamond and Champion, and you can do the same.
Yep.
I think Kama will win Diamond. He's in that territory where it's just like he could go far and win, but also hard to say because there's still other good runners. And my pick for champion is going to be Bacon. I'm going to pick Bacon.
Classic. I'm going to go with Spear to win Diamond. I think if Spear plays the game any bit, they're really good and they have a chance to be super consistent. That I don't know if Kama will be or any of the other really like good runners in this group. And I'll go Homer Steel champion. Guy could be the world record holder with a but two cutscene skips, so it's hard to go past. Probably just the best runner, period.
True. I think it's just measuring consistency versus like the ceiling, and it's so hard.
Yeah. They're all good runners, as we said. Yeah.
But anyway, this straw show analysis has gone on for wow. We've been talking for 45 minutes about nonsense.
That's what we do best.
Thank you for watching this episode of SHARCast. This is like a last minute thing. Pretty cool to go over the groups with dtops here. Yeah, it's going to be a fun tournament to watch from myself as like a spectator.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. Thank you for having me, Tikar. I got asked when does the race start. There's one 9 p.m. BST, which is in like 10 hours, I think, is the next race. But yeah, should be good.
Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
See ya.